of going live. By the way, today's topic is IBS. And IBS, yeah. Throughout my life, had all the gut issues. I'll list them in a second, but I'm trying to see what these little things do. Anyway, I'll get to the point. What gut issues have I experienced? Well, I had IBS, diverticulitis, ulcerative colitis, all the itises. I'm sure there's more, like the typical, the leaky gut, right? The yeast overgrowth, the SIBO, the dysbiosis, right? I had all the gut issues. I had diverticulitis surgery, but the thing is, I had say that again. I had diverticulitis on and off for probably 10 to 15 years. I've probably had 10 different diverticulitis flares where I had to go get antibiotics and they would resolve, right? But eventually, it got to the point where I didn't take antibiotics. I think that's what it was. I didn't know I had diverticulitis. It was one of those things where I thought I had, because I had back pain. So what happened was I had mind-body symptoms, right? Well, it's all diverticulitis is mind-body, right? But I got confused with them, and I thought, oh, I got a kidney stone because I went to the hospital. I said, my back hurts, my testicles hurt. I have, right at that time, I had pelvic floor pain, and I thought there was something wrong with my colon, or I don't know what's going on. They did a CT scan. They said everything's fine. It could be sometimes CT scans miss. It could be a kidney stone, right? Hey, Ava. Hey, Lansemi, Julia, CB. Thanks for joining. Recap. I'm just sharing a bit of my second storm and how it lingered and how it was one symptom came after the other, and it was a goose chase. So I had this back pain. They said, well, it could be that you're passing a stone and we're not picking up on it yet, because what you're describing sounds like a kidney stone. I'm like, okay, so I was convinced. All right, well, I better start drinking. Maybe I'll drink some beer because I hear beer works good with kidney stones, right? I had testicle pain. It felt like Mike Tyson was punching my balls, right? Spinal. But so I was doing that. And then I had bladder pain. And I was like, okay, well, bladder pain, right? Does that make sense? Because, I have a kidney. Maybe it's passing in my bladder now. That's why my bladder hurts. So, but the thing is, what happened was I had a diverticulitis flare. I let it go on too long, right? I didn't take antibiotics. And it got worse. And I didn't know that diverticulitis could affect your bladder, right? So shit got out of control because I was convinced I was passing a stone. There's mistakes all around, right? But it happens. And I go in, they're like, you need emergency surgery. Right? It's affecting your bladder, and now you gotta get a piece of it taken out. It's a 5-6 hour surgery. Shit show. Right? They did a good job. Everything went smooth. But, being there, being around people with gut issues, being there with people that, some of them were dying, that was traumatic. The whole hospital thing was so traumatic. People were there with that were in a car accident, that were, this one guy got run over by a car and he was mangled, right? Another guy who had a fistula in his guts, and he just came out of surgery and they were still working on him, kind of like, okay, they had his whole bowels open, right? And they had to make sure that everything was working smooth before I don't know what they were doing. It was crazy. He was in agony, had a feeding tube down his nose, right? He wasn't allowed to drink too much water. And I was beside this guy. And then there was an old guy across from me who was going delirious, and they had him locked down, and he kept breaking the alarms. Another guy, he had cancer, but he couldn't get, his veins were too small, and they needed to do to get an IV in his veins in his neck. So they had to do this thing where they had to scan his neck to get the IV. Oh man, so much crazy shit. Another guy died in my room, right? Fucking insane. Anyway, this is about IBS. Sorry. The thing is, when I talk about this shit, one thing goes to this. I can easily talk about this for 8 hours about the shit that I experienced through this mind-body shit, before the mind-body shit, right? All the rabbit holes that went down, the nightmares. Anyway, so I had the diverticulitis surgery. They fixed it. Done. Right? That was traumatizing for me. And one of my OCD looping thoughts, my PTSD, was that I would have to go back to surgery for something, anything. Right? That I would get diverticulitis again. So that was scary. But before the diverticulitis episode that I had there, my perfect storm, I had ulcerative colitis. And it was managed with medication throughout my life. And I remember the night that I got it. I was with a narcissist. So I was stressed beyond belief. I felt a lot of anger, a lot of guilt, a lot of stress. And then I got ulcerative colitis. The relationship before that, I had diverticulitis. So it seems to be a trend. Toxic relationships, it affects my bowels because, you got a storm up here and it affects you down there, right? And then you build up your life, throws you curveballs. You have these allostatic loads build. So nothing's been regulated or resolved. You're running a survival state. Oh, we're live again. Sorry, went off. Oh, we're live again. Sorry, went off. I think it was my internet. Oh well, we'll see how it if it goes separate or if it keeps going. All right, we'll see. Okay, that's what I was saying. So anyway, throughout life, right, it throws you curveballs, bad relationships, toxic relationships. You're with a narcissist, right? Bad work environment. Maybe you're on medication. Maybe somebody died, passed away. What else is there? Antibiotics 10 times. Surgeries. I had umbilical cord surgery. Umbilical hernia, surgery, right? So I was a drinker, a smoker, right? Party animal. Like I was putting myself through all kinds of stress, mentally, physically. Right, my friends weren't the best. They didn't really care about me. I had thick skin. We were just brutal with each other. My childhood was okay, but it wasn't the best either. Chicken jockey, and eventually somebody asked me, "Can you say chicken jockey?" And eventually, what happens? You run the survival state, and it gets hardwired there. And when that happens, there's chaos happening. It's a program. You're running a new program of chaos. And when that happens, something's got to give. Body keeps a score. Symptoms manifest, right? And especially whatever happens here, it's going to affect you in the gut. So I dealt with ulcerative colitis. I had the colonoscopy. I had a specialist tell me, "Yep, you got ulcerative colitis," just like my brother, right? He had ulcerative colitis. He has ulcerative colitis still. I don't anymore. But at the time, I needed to go on medication, and I managed it. I was able to live life, right? When I got it, it wasn't like a perfect storm hit yet. This is when the things started to come up. So I'm just giving you a history of my bowel issues, right? Early years, diverticulitis, then ulcerative colitis hit. I was managing it with medication. And that was pretty much it. I have blood in the stool here and there, right? And I got kind of used to it. I was like, okay, whatever. But I didn't know what was going on with me. I was a smoker, drinker, miserable, worked a shitty job. I hated my boss. They played favorites, right? And my coworkers weren't there was a lot of bullying at my work. A lot of bullies. I had to play the game. I had to make sure I was in the right groups, right? I had to put in my time to get the respect. That took me probably 6 years to finally have people not throw me under the bus all the time, when they still did. So work environment, life stress, gut issues, right? It all makes sense. Relationships, oh man, that's why, like, a huge source of why people get sick. You're stuck in a bad relationship. It's like you're in a room with a tiger all the time. Your nervous system's going to act accordingly. It's there to protect you. You're in an alarm state, right? So your gut's going to get affected, amongst other things. So I got my perfect storm number 1. I managed it. I was able to, I never got fully healed, but it went from 20 symptoms to 5. And then eventually I got perfect storm number 2, which is over 75 symptoms, which included being able to eat 2 safe foods. From a guy that was a foodie to all of a sudden I can only eat 2 safe foods, right? That was crazy. Or I'd have severe flares, right? If I had a little bit of citrus or a little bit of tomato, just a little bit, or a piece of avocado or fish or anything that has histamine in it, I would be in a 2 to 3 week flare where I'd be on the toilet, constant diarrhea, and it was putting so much stress on my system that the diarrhea would turn into blood because of the stress. Right, amongst them, there were so many other symptoms too: skin issues, heart palpitations, tachycardia, blood pressure going up and down. Heart rate was also going up and down at different stages. What else was there? OCD, lupin thoughts, post-traumatic stress, anxiety. Living in society. Right, I was just thinking about Friends. No, Seinfeld. And I had, all the mast cell activations, multiple chemical sensitivity. Right, it was insane. But then, right, I had two safe foods that I could only eat, and I was reacting constantly to foods, which was stressful. But then add in IBS, right? IBS is no picnic because it's constant pain, right? I had both. I had the diarrhea version. I had the constipation version, where it feels like you got a brick inside your gut, right? My left side, where I could feel like, I'm like, man, it feels like there's a brick in there. It feels like I got my guts are made out of stone, right? Like somebody put like this concrete cement in there. Like, weird sensation. It's hard to explain. I would have gas pain that would go on my left side. Gas pain that go on the top right here. Gas pain meaning like stabbing pains, cramping, right? Like you're like, oh, like this. You're going, oh, like so much, like, oh, right? It makes knives stabbing jealous. That's what I was going, like this. Oh, and then I would try to massage it to calm that stabbing, aching, cramping pain. Eventually I found that if you stretch into it, right, it would kind of help the stabbing pain. The gas, right, the farts were insanely disgusting, and they just never stopped, right? I could fart constantly, probably every 2 minutes, another farting constantly, and they fucking reeked. It could clear out a fucking Walmart easily, right? Even a little fucked, forget it. So the stabbing pains, the gnawing, dullness, nausea, felt nauseous all the time. I looked pregnant all the time, right? If I ate something, all of a sudden I looked like I was, that was what I was dealing with, the IBS. And it kind of eased in, and then it was relentless, where it was constant pain, IBS pain, with the thoughts going with it. And then I started doing the mind-body approaches, right? Doing the pillars, the 8 pillars every day, never missing a day. And I had to get used to having my IBS be there, being friends with it. Right? I had a different sort of IBS. Mine was more pain, gas, looping thoughts about it. Sure, I had diarrhea, but I was able to hold it and then go to the washroom and have the diarrhea. And usually I'd be on the toilet having the diarrhea for, a half hour at a time. My legs would get sore because you're sitting, right? So the toilet seat would make my muscles sore on my ass. So I was dealing with that. And then the pelvic floor pain came in where when I had solid poop, I wasn't able to pass it because it was like a wall came up. Because I was so tight down there, poop could not come out. So I had to physically take my fingers and open up my butthole to assist my rectum to allow the shit to come out, right? But that's all the pelvic floor stuff. We're sticking to the IBS. So, of course, I go down the rabbit holes before I do the mind-body approaches. And then while I do the mind-body approaches, I slipped a couple times and I wanted to research more about IBS. And of course, when you do that, you look at there's cancer, there's Crohn's, and there's more other things more colitis, more, and there's a lot of mixed information out there that doesn't make sense, and you can't get a straight answer. And so I was ruminating, investigating, researching, going down the rabbit holes a little bit, even though I'd done this before, but I slipped. And then I went down these YouTube rabbit holes. Not only Facebook groups there, which are toxic, where everybody's stuck. Nobody seems to be recovering from the IBS. It seems like everybody you hear had it or see it, the stories online. Nobody recovers. It seems like, right? So you're dealing with information. You're being brainwashed by information constantly, and it creates a reality around you. And then you're thinking, how the hell? Who do I think? What am I thinking that I'm going to recover and have these symptoms go away without having to go on medication, without having to do avoidance behaviors? Right? Let alone IBS. But what about anxiety? What about all the other 70 symptoms? I think I'm going to get rid of all those. It's a laughing. It's a joke to even think that one of the symptoms that you can recover. That's our reality that we face. If you go on Google, if you go on YouTube, if you go on these Facebook groups, Reddit, take any of these 70 symptoms, one of them, talk about it or research it, you find out that reality tells you will never recover. You will manage, right? Google it. Google any of these symptoms. They will always say, unfortunately, they don't know whether you can't recover. No, this is something that you have to manage for the rest of your life. So that sucks, man. What kind of a reality are we brainwashing ourselves with? And we're surrounded by it. We have no choice. So me thinking, no, I'm committed. I'm gonna not only recover from this symptom, but 75 of them. Like, what kind of a miracle would it take for that to happen? But that's what the type of shit that we all would have to deal with. All of us that are going through this mind-body space. Everybody say hi if you see me. Yep. Okay. So you're literally going against the grain and going up a mountain with this reality, with all these different realities lying to you, right? And then so I checked YouTube, and you see some of these IBS gurus, right, that haven't recovered yet, and they try to show you tips because they live with it, and they tell you all these tips, what they do so they can live, life, and what you can take and what you can do. But they say, my life's changed and I can't do this. I can't do this anymore. I can't do that. It's usually 90% of my day, of my life is just, I manage my pain, and I'm like, wow, she's an expert at this. She's had this. I've only started having these IBS symptoms for the past couple of months. They're insane. And she's talking exactly she's saying exactly what I'm feeling. Everything she's saying, I'm like, yeah, right? But she's been stuck for 16 years, and then you see other people 30 years, and you're like, man, I'm never going to get out of this. So you watch these people, they solidify this belief that you're stuck, you're never going to get better, right? They solidify it. This reality. And then I had this, how dare I think, oh no, I'm going to recover from IBS. Oh yeah. And all the other fucking symptoms also. Watch. Like, you got to have screw loose. You got to be crazy to think that. Am I stupid? And that's what it takes, though. You got to think crazy till you fake it and make it. And you get to the other side, and all the symptoms are gone. And those people that I used to watch, those two ladies, they still got IBS. I overcame it. I fully recovered. Along with all the other 70-ish symptoms that I had. Fully gone. Free. IBS gone. I can eat anything. Actually, I eat more things that I would never dream of even going near. I eat chili in the bucketfuls, right? Thai chili, the spicy shit. I could fucking eat jalapenos, right? Pickled jalapenos. Oh, I love that. No problem. My shit isn't even, I'm not even burning down there when I eat that. It's no problem. Right? It's like I'm eating lava. Love it. Easy. No problem, right? But these people are still suffering. Why? Because they're surrounded by the wrong information. They're brainwashing themselves into these beliefs. They're trying to fix, get rid of. They're analyzing. They think there's something wrong with their whatever mitochondria or their biome, or you fill in the blanks. All the bullshit that's out there, they've been programmed to believe there's something wrong with them. They're injured or broken. There's something wrong with them. They're also sending the wrong messages to the brain. They're keeping their brain in a survival state constantly, the way they respond, the way they avoid, the way they resist, the way they keep reaffirming that, yes, we are in danger. They keep reprogramming themselves into this alarm state program, the survival state program. They are reprogramming it. And they're doing it by what's the information that they read and see that's surrounding them everywhere, right? So all this information keeps you programming that program. And they're going to stay in that program for the rest of their lives unless they finally break free, or they find this channel or the mind-body approach or the mind-body space, because there's a lot of different gurus and coaches out there that can that are able to support the idea that they can fully recover. There go my dogs. Hold on. So, here, you guys go out.
Guess what?
Anyway, so my dogs are. My wife came home, so they wanted to say hi. So anyway, I just want to let people know you can fully recover from IBS, right? All you need to do is do the 8 pillars, do the work. There's work to be done. It's not just feel the emotions, right? Which is also very important. Process the emotions and bring this survival state down. That's what you got to do, and it takes time. And the thing is, the more you do this work, when you first start doing the work, it's going to be hard. You're going to deal with the resistance. And at first, things get worse, They get worse before they get better, right? And symptoms become opportunities to update the alarm system. This is where the shitty days are the days you want, because without them, without the symptoms, you cannot move forward, right? So you got to have a schedule set up, right? And make these symptoms your friends. So you start to build that leverage of indifference. And when you build that leverage of indifference, the system can finally calibrate and update and calm itself down. The brain starts to turn off alarms by the way we respond. We allow the thoughts and feelings and symptoms to be there, right? We We stick to our schedule and our routine. We bring the thoughts and feelings and symptoms with us. We're aware of old behavior patterns. We're changing things. We're doing visuals. We're doing some elevating. We're dancing, going for walks, right? All these pillars bring that survival state down. The brain hardwires it in. It updates. And we're using neuroplasticity to do this also. It's brain retraining. We're rewiring the brain. But the way to do that is to update the alarm system so that you become indifferent to the symptoms. When you come indifferent to the symptoms, the system starts to calm down. The brain updates. Symptoms turn off. Alarms turn off. And now you're running a new program of ease instead of dis-ease, right? But it takes time. And you have to be consistent. You can't miss a day, right? You got to literally lead in with a new program while you're dealing with the resistance, because this whole journey, especially in the beginning, everything about it, you're dealing with resistance. So you got to lead in while you're smiling. You got to fake it till you make it in the beginning. Yeah, I know it's not authentic, right? But we try to be as authentic as we can when we can. We allow, we feel the feelings, right? But you're also going to fake it till you make it, right? You're going to lead the new program while allowing the old program to die out. By allowing it to die out without trying to fix it, figure out, analyze it, let it do its thing. And in time, with repetition, we update the alarm system. Symptoms turn off. And you get your life back. And you will have setbacks, right? So the symptoms will come and they go, and they come and they go, and they come and they go. But you need it to come in and out 1,000 times, in and out, because every time it does this, it's an opportunity for you to update it. And the only way we move forward is to have these opportunities. So don't waste them. When it comes in, IBS symptoms come in, you give it the right responses, you allow it to be there, you show you're a safety tour guide with the high socks and the hat, right? This is your opportunity to show it by sending a message of safety, well-being, and the danger over and over and over again, sticking to the 8 pillars of recovery, right? While processing the emotions. And in time, all these alarms turn off. Symptoms will go away. Eventually, they will stay away. But yeah, it goes in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. Setbacks happen. They get intense. But it needs to happen. Without it, you can't recover. Because it forces you to build that leverage of indifference to these symptoms. And when you don't care anymore, if you're even going to yourself, you know what? I don't care if you're here for another year, IBS. I don't care. I'm indifferent to it. I'm not looking to see if you're gone. No, I'm not doing the allowing or these methods to get rid of you. No, the goal is to allow without any strings attached. No small print, right? We authentically allow to let it do its thing. And if you want to hang out for another year, that's cool. Actually, I want you to hang out for another year. Just take away that resistance and then engage in life. And that's your workflow. Took me 3 years. 3 years of doing the work every day, never missing a day. And now I'm free, eating buckets of Thai chili with ease. No ulcerative colitis. And the thing is, when you regulate that nervous system by running a new program, right? Gut issues, nothing, it doesn't touch you. You can stand on confidence and go, no, I'm pretty good. You know, my allostatic loads used to be up to here, but now they're, maybe a little bit lower around here. And my survival state program is back down to 0, back to standby. So I'm confident I will not have diverticulitis again, or ulcerative colitis again, or any of the other IBS, or any of the other gut issues. Because when you regulate, right, you're running a program of ease, you get into rest and digest, where all the systems in your body work together like a big, beautiful orchestra in harmony, right? And they're able to do what they're supposed to do without you micromanaging all the systems in your body, without trying to change your biome, your kidneys, your liver, right? Without analyzing it and making sure it's doing its job, without trying to activate the vagus nerve to making sure that you can have a bowel movement. No. Now you can trust that it's doing everything on its own the way it's supposed to. Your job, your only job was to update the software and support it that way. The body follows suit depending on what program you update it with. And you don't have to worry about anything else. It'll do what it's supposed to do. It knows. The brain creates neural pathways. You don't need to worry about neural pathways. You don't need to worry about that you're using neuroplasticity. Don't worry about the neuroplasticity. The brain does that by itself. All you got to do is follow the 8 pillars. Do the work every day. Be consistent. Don't give up, because it's going to be hard. That's the catch. This journey is going to be hard, right? But you'll get there. As long as you do the work every day and never miss a day, the brain will have no choice but to change, right? And there are success stories out there. If you check out my success stories, if you check out, there's other gurus out there that are Raylan's channel, Buglio. I'm sure he's got a couple of digestive IBS success stories. Right? Check out the TMS forums, right? We're starting to grow. That mind-body space is starting to grow, but you know what? It's still a needle in the haystack. And if you're here watching this, or in the mind-body space in general, you are a fucking unicorn. You found the root issue. You found, that's it. This is it. You found it. Now just do the work, right? Do the work, recover, come to me for a success story, right? And our goal is to spread the word, bring awareness to the mind-body space so other people can heal and get their lives back. That's the goal. Right, Greta? Such a deep knowing I'm on the right path since I found Helmut. I love it. Amazing. Yes. So, okay, guys, I just wanted to just talk about IBS a little bit, because I'm like, I don't talk about IBS enough, but I will. I'm going to be talking about triple PD with Sam soon. We're going to do a bunch of cool shit. And my website is up. There was some bugs. Bear with me. There might be some more bugs, right? Some shit might not work and whatever. That's okay. We roll with the punches. But yeah, we're offering the 8 pillars plus group coaching with me and Sam, Mondays and Wednesdays, right? Join us, be a part of the community. And we're in the trenches with you. It's called In the Trenches with me and Sam and I, right? Join up. What I'll do, well, it's also in my bio. There's a link to my website there. You can find the program. But what I'll do is I'll put it in the description, right? And if anybody needs any one-on-one coaching, hit me up. I'll leave my email. All right, guys. Have a good night. Love to love you.